The following is a video presentation of a morning worship service at Orrville Baptist Church.
From the end of the earth I call to you. My heart is faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I. You have been a refuge for me, a tower of strength against the enemy. Let me dwell in your tent forever. Let me take refuge in the shelter of your wings, for you have heard my vows, O God. You have given me the inheritance of those who fear your name. You will prolong the king's life. His years will be as many generations. He will abide before God forever. Appoint loving kindness and truth, that they may preserve him. So I will sing praise to your name forever, that I may pay my vows day by day. Welcome to Orrville Baptist Church. We're delighted to gather together again for worship. We got a good bit to go through this morning, so I'm going to go jump right into the bulletin. If you've got your bulletin in hand, on the very first page, you'll see an announcement for the Saluda Baptist Association meeting. We are meeting tonight at Concord. Now, there's been some confusion over the time. I think the highlight at the time tonight at the bottom of the first page of your bulletin, it says 6. Everything that I have seen says 5:30. So Concord at 5:30 is the beginning of that meeting. So if you want to take a little, if you're like me, you forget things that you say and hear, you're not going to get a pen and write down 5:30 across 6 o'clock at the bottom of your bulletin. So we'll have that tonight. That means there's no worship service here tonight for the evening service, but you are invited to join over at Concord for the Saluda Association meeting. A good time of worship and talking with and meeting with and being around our sister churches. On the back of your bulletin, I want to encourage you to always join us on Wednesdays and meet in the Hayes Fellowship Hall. And a wonderful time opening up God's Word. Some special things. I sent some special things. Other people have said the same thing happening in our Wednesday night services, and I would encourage you to consider joining us. I know it's difficult for many of us throughout the week. A busy work week, a lot of stuff going on in the middle of the week. We have a really special time over in the Hayes building, so I encourage you to join us for that. You'll see on October 19th, Senior Adult Fall Celebration at Seneca First Baptist Church as at 10:30. And then I want to continue to plug Tuesday, October 31st, we will have a trunk or treat out front. That's going to start at 5:30. We're just not going to, we don't really have a set end time, but when it starts getting dark, we're not going to hang around. We're going to use our daylight to our advantage. It's very simple. You just pull a car up, we park in a straight line, all facing the same way. We have candy in our trunks, so people come by and we pass out candy. And I also want to let you know we'll have you can call it whatever you want, tract, pamphlet, really don't care. A really nice one called The Story. It walks through from Genesis to Revelation very quickly, the story of God, the story of the church. And it shows from the fall to worshiping forever in Revelation. We'll be passing those out as well as some literature about our church here at Orrville. The nice thing about the story, and I'll have these for you to hand out, and the very nice thing about this tract, whatever you want to call it, called The Story, it's very easy to walk through with someone the story of God. It makes it so that you are telling the story of what God has done for us in a very, very simple way, but a very meaningful way. And so we'll be passing those out. You'll have a lot of opportunities on the 31st to walk through that story with people. So I encourage you to join us, even if you don't want to hand out candy or do any of that stuff. I encourage you to show up and maybe be a part of a team or a small group of people who are just wanting to hand out this literature and talk to people about who God is. So I would encourage you to join us for that. And then I want to remind you about other ways you can give. The food pantry, the past 2 weeks, has been phenomenal. Phenomenal. I think I said something a couple weeks ago about how I mentioned it got low, and then within 3 days, the food pantry was stocked. So we thank you so much for all of your help in that. We're doing pretty good right now. Could take a little bit more items. So if you want to give to the food pantry, there's always a place you can drop off food right here at the front. Thank you for always continuing to give food to our neighbors and help out with that. I also want to take up the organ fund. We're at $1,012. We need about a little under $300 more to fix the organ. If you want to give anything towards that, you just want to mark on an envelope or however you want, on a check, whatever it may be.
if you'd like to help us with that, just donate or mark that as to the organ fund. We'll know exactly where that goes.
Got a few announcements to bring to you this morning. So just bear with me for a minute. The first is going to be about the work day, which is on Saturday. This coming Saturday at 8 o'clock. We're going to get started here at the church. We'll have some coffee and some biscuits in the Hayes building before we get started. And then we're going to get right to our projects. We're going to be doing some major work on the shrubbery and the bushes and the trees around here. That's going to be our main task for the day. We're going to be doing a few other things, including moving some Sunday school classes around. So if you would like to come to the work day, we invite you to do so. If you have any of these tools, we'd like for you to consider bringing these. We need some hedge trimmers, preferably gas-powered, electric are fine, but gas-powered if you have them. Leaf blowers, rakes, hose, chainsaws, things like that. So if you have any of these tools, consider bringing them. There's a sign-up sheet in the back. If you are coming at all, please do sign up on the sheet in the back. If you plan on bringing an item, there's a space by your name that you can write down what item you want to bring. But regardless if you're going to bring something or not, please do write your name down so we know that you're coming. So please make plans to attend on Saturday at 8 o'clock. The next is about the Youth and Children Bonfire. You probably saw an insert in your bulletin this morning about that. That is also going to be next week, the 21st, starting at 5 o'clock. It's going to be at Jimmy and Karen Brown's house. There'll be plenty of activities to do, hamburgers, hot dogs. It's just going to be a great evening of fun and fellowship, youth and children and their families. So if you're going to do that, again, we ask that you sign up back there. We have several names already put down, but if you are planning on coming, haven't signed up yet, if you would do that, we would appreciate it. Their address should be on the sheet. It is 119 Centerpoint Road in Belton. And then finally, about the apple orchard trip, you've probably seen the sheet back there, maybe some information in the highlights and whatnot. This is going to be November the 4th. November the 4th, first Saturday in November. We're going to be taking a trip to the Justice Orchard up in Hendersonville to close out our fall season. We're going to take the church bus. Tom Johnson's going to drive for us. We're going to leave here about 9:30 in the morning and return somewhere between 3 and 3:30. So again, if you are coming to this and you're planning to ride the bus with us, there's a sheet in the back. We have a limited number of spots on the bus, so if you sign up early, you are guaranteed a spot. So if you would do that, we would greatly appreciate it.
Lord, my goodness. I don't know about y'all, that hits me hard. Those two songs are just two of the best, the greatest hymns ever written. And we're having a good day of worship, that's all I know. So I'm happy we're here today. We've got an entire chapter to do this morning. Who's scared? Carl, you scared? We're going to get going. Chapter 12 of Acts, we're going to make it through. It's 25 verses. Hey, I did 53 verses one time and 51 verses another time. I can do 25. We'll be all right. We'll be out of here, I promise. Acts chapter 12 is where we're going to be, and it's not so like a familiar theme a little bit. We've already seen some of this. I don't know if you remember some time ago. It's been a while. We went through chapter 5. So it's been quite a while. There were many believers who were being rounded up, and they were being thrown into prison, and then you had the apostles who were put in jail, and what happens? They go to jail, and the gates to the prison just kind of open up, and they walk out. Really an amazing thing, and what's really amazing about that story is when they're let out, you would think the apostles would go and flee and go find safety, and where do they go? They go straight back in front of everybody, and they start preaching the word. It's just an incredible account. We saw that in chapter 5. And there was a man during this time, we talked about him, he was a great teacher of the Pharisees, named Gamaliel. I don't know if you recall this or not, I hope so, but Gamaliel had some words of, quote, wisdom to give to the fellow Pharisees who were persecuting the church. Here's what he said. This is the lead teacher, Gamaliel, warning other Pharisees. He said, "So in the present case, I say to you, stay away from these men and leave them alone. For if this plan or action is of men, it will be overthrown, but if it is of God, you will not be able to overthrow them. Or else you may even be found fighting against God." You guys remember this account? And remember, it didn't work. The church continued to blossom and grow. It was almost a proof, so to speak, that God had his hand in the church. And so it seems that all the events of Acts kind of come in cycles. It seems like we see these things kind of come back and forth and wax and wane. And once again, you're going to see the exact same thing happen this morning that Gamaliel talked about, fighting against God. It's been going on since the fall of Adam. It's been going on for centuries upon centuries. Fighting this tension with God. And so whether people admittedly say, "I'm fighting against God," or even if they unknowingly are fighting against God, this battle has been brewing since day one. We're going to get pretty specific about the motives and the motivations behind a battle that's taking place in chapter 12. And so just to catch us up to speed, the last time we were here, we took a break and observing the Lord's Supper. The week before that, we did chapter 11. 2 weeks ago, we saw the church at Antioch, a wonderful example of ascending church, a church that is just on the mission of God, who's wanting to see the gospel spread to Jews, to also to Gentiles. It didn't matter who it was, they were preaching the word. A wonderful example of a gospel-minded church, so to speak. And then this is a church that had been wandering. These are people that had been scattered all throughout the area. By who? Saul. When Saul persecuted the church. And then ironically, it's a story that only God can write. Saul makes his way back to these believers and he teaches them for a year. This is the same man who persecuted them, tried to kill them, and now God has called him out and saved him, and now he's teaching the very people he persecuted. It's just a wonderful example of God's story that only he can write, something only he can do. And then these people who were persecuted by this monster who's now saved, these people send Saul out to do the work of God. It's just how do you write this stuff? It's something that only can be authored by God. And so the church at Antioch sends Saul and Barnabas to deliver contributions and help. The reason that they needed this contributions and help is because there was a famine that was coming to plague almost all of the world, a huge famine. And so they were sent to send resources and food. That's what closed out chapter 11 and then brings us to chapter 12. And we'll just walk through these verse by verse, at times verses by verses, and begin to understand what's going on here. So first, verses 1 and 2, let's go ahead and knock those out.
Verse 1 and 2 of Acts 12, it says, Now about that time, Herod the king laid hands on some who belonged to the church in order to mistreat them. And he had James, the brother of John, put to death with a sword. This is Herod, who is known as Herod Agrippa. He's a descendant, a son of the Herod that you read about in the birth narrative of Christ. So one of his children, to be very specific. Herod Agrippa, who is right here in Acts 12, is a dirty politician. Imagine that. They've always existed. Can you believe it? Oh my. Herod Agrippa is just another dirty politician. They existed for centuries before him. They'll be here long after Agrippa's gone. I hate to break the news, but many of the ones we have today are still dirty politicians. They have a habit of jumping onto a platform they think will give them power. They have a habit of jumping into an arena which they think will make them popular. Most of the time, they don't even care about the issues. They said before, it's just a political strategy move. Herod Agrippa, exact same story. The exact same thing. He begins to persecute the church. Here we go again. How many times have we seen persecution in Acts? It does this. It gets heightened and then it drops off. And it gets heightened and it drops off. And it gets heightened and it drops off. Why? Because every single time God shows the world, this is my church, and it will not stop. And every few years, someone comes along and says, we're going to ramp up persecution again and try to stop it out. And it can't be done. It can't happen. You can't stop the movement of God. Then you read, sadly, in verse 2, after a little time, there's a time of relief for the church. Hasn't been a whole lot of persecution, and now here it is again in verse 2 of James. The brother of John is put to death by the sword. Another martyr of the church. I've said it before, we're gathered here this morning for worship, and it costs blood to get to this point. I want everyone to understand that. If you are here gathered for worship, it costs someone's blood for you to be here. First, our Savior, Lord Jesus Christ, and secondly, countless martyrs throughout the years who died for the faith. Did not die to earn heaven, died because they were already citizens of heaven. Martyrs have paved the road for us to be gathered here this morning, to join together as the church. Everyone says that this is such a horrible suffering and a horrible thing to happen, and what a bad thing it is when the church is persecuted. And if you know by now, if you've been going through Acts, you know differently than that. You know better than to say that suffering is bad in the church. If you've been going with us through Acts, you know better. It has been some of the most richest, most fertile soil to grow the church throughout human history. Persecution, that is. It has spread us far and wide, planted churches across all continents, all places, all countries, taking the gospel to people who never heard it before. Suffering and persecution has done this. Bleeding has done this. Death has done this. God will use anything for His glory. It has never stopped the church. In actuality, it has strengthened the church. It has made the church stronger than ever before. Makes us healthier than ever before. In persecution, you find out who's really willing to suffer for the sake of Christ and who's just kind of a fickle faith. People of fickle faith will run high. They'll denounce Christ. I have nothing to do with Jesus. If it'll keep my life, I have nothing to do with Him. This is why persecution is a healthy measure. It shows the church who's here and who's not really here. Now look at verse 3, and you'll find Herod's motivation. Here's why you see persecution coming up. When he saw that it pleased the Jews, he proceeded to arrest Peter also. Now it was during the days of unleavened bread. Saw that it pleased the Jews. There you go. You want to know why Herod Agrippa was doing this? Right there. Because it pleased the Jews. It's a political movement. It's just politics. That's it. He wants to cozy up and win the favor of the Jews. They were still the people of influence. Still the people of power. It's all about power. Every bit of this is about human power. He could care less about the Christian faith. He's been so heavily influenced by Roman ideology and Roman theology, he doesn't care what the Christians do. And so why is it that he wants James dead and the Christian church stopped and to arrest Peter? Because they're making it look good to the Jews. They hated the church. They wanted the church to stop. And so if you can win their favor, guess what? He's got power. Man-made power. Self-perceived power. He's not concerned with Christ, or the Spirit, or the church, the movement of Peter, the movement of Saul. He doesn't care about any of this stuff. He wants control. He wants influence. He wants a name. He wants power. He wants a people like the Jews because it's an advantage to him. He can benefit off them in his eyes. Put people to death for power? Sure. Why not? That's his motivation. He was influenced by typical Roman theology of the day. Selfishness. Conceit. Ego. So here's the first clue as to seeing and understanding and identifying this lust for power. The lust for man-made power seeks to please self over pleasing God. It's an absolute tragedy. It's a terrible tragedy. This ranges from secular politics to even inside the church, unfortunately. You can find this all over the world. People would rather have power in these hands than in pleasing God. It's a horrible tragedy. And it's also crept into the modern day church across the globe. People will fight. They'll fight tooth and nail. They will scrape and they will claw for what they want instead of what God wants. Because as long as we feed the flesh, we're happy. To honor God means we belittle ourselves. And I mean that sincerely. We make nothing of ourselves so that He would receive all glory and honor. And it's such a silly battle to take part in to fight against God. It's a fruitless endeavor. We've seen it all through Acts. It makes no sense to put up a fight against God. He's God. His will be done, whether we like it or not. It's a silly battle. So we're going to go fast here. Stick with me. Verse 4. When he had seized him, he put him in prison, delivering him to 4 squads of soldiers to guard him, intending about after the Passover to bring him about before the people. So Peter was kept in the prison, but prayer for him was being made fervently by the church to God. Passover's going on. All these visitors, all these travelers are coming in to take part in the Passover feast. So there's a big, big audience. And so why did Herod Agrippa not just slaughter Peter and instead put him in jail? Because he didn't want Passover to overshadow what he was doing. So here's what he would do. If he had Peter slain during Passover, they'd all be off celebrating Passover, no one would see it. But if he waited until just after Passover, he could bring all the attention onto himself. He could showcase his power. And so he just has Peter thrown into jail. It says the church is just relentless in their prayer. They are just fervent in their prayer. It means unending. They just go to God and just pray. And you see the battle. What kind of battle they take part in? They don't take up arms. They don't go try to release Peter and overthrow the prison. They go pray. They're people made of prayer. And so Peter stayed in prison. The church is praying to God. And Herod Agrippa is just biding his time, waiting for Passover to finish so he can make a scene. So that he can have attention. This is, you can call it a point if you want to, whatever you like, but people who lust for power. People who have a man-made lust for power. They want an audience. They want a scene. They need an audience. They actually have to have a scene. They don't just want a scene, they need one. Because in their minds, their power doesn't mean anything to them if people aren't seeing it. That makes sense? They want man-made powers. They can't do it in shadows. They need an audience because then people will fear, people will know, people will be able to say, well, that person did this. People who crave power, they need to make a scene in their heads. If nobody sees it, they don't have any power. It all lies in mankind's hands. That's the exact reason. If you've ever wondered, why do people only cause a scene when people are around? That's why. They have to wait until people are watching and they can be seen. They need to exercise in futility man-made power. Power that's so overrated and so fruitless and so weak is man-made power. I mean, it's completely overrated. It is so pointless to crave and to go after, to try to satisfy other people, to prove that we're more powerful, or I've got power, or I crave power, or I've got this. So weak. So fruitless. Accomplishes nothing. Look at verse 6. On the very night when Herod was about to bring him forward, Peter was sleeping between 2 soldiers, bound with 2 chains, and guards in front of the door were watching over the prison. Now, we're going to go to verse 7 here. I'm telling you right now, this is not meant to be a comedy, by no means. There's a little bit of humor going on. in this event. I don't want to say it's lighthearted, but in a way it's kind of lighthearted. Listen to what's going on here. This is not funny, but there is a side to it. It's just kind of like an ironic type of funniness. Verse 7. Behold, an angel of the Lord suddenly appeared, and light shone in the cell, and he struck Peter's side and woke him up, saying, "Get up quickly." And his chains fell off his hands. Peter is sound asleep. You tell me. Well, I'm not like this. Something a lot of people are. Katie can be like this sometimes. If there's a light that comes on through your bedroom window when you're sleeping, raise your hand if you're one of the people who go and wakes up with the slightest little. I can usually sleep through some of that kind of stuff. We have neighbors that, how do I say this? They're not here, are they? Okay. We've got a neighbor who parks their car right beside our bedroom window, and we get in bed and we're sound asleep, and they decide to lock their car doors about 3 times, and the lights go right into our window, and that can't wake you up with the horn. But some people, they can sense the light even when they're sleeping, and it'll wake them up. There's an angel with radiant beams coming off of its body in Peter's cell, and he's out. He is in a deep sleep to the point that an angel actually stick him, wake him up. Had to touch his side, get up quickly, and his chains fell off. Do you see what's going on with Peter here? Ask yourself this question: if you were just thrown in prison for your faith, being a Christian, would you just go straight down and go into jail and just have a good night's rest? Or would your mind be pacing? Would you be thinking about what I do? How do I get out of here? Are they going to come for me? Is the church praying? Are they going to kill me? That's kind of naturally what we do. We start worrying. Our minds start racing, start going in circles, and they're going to get to sleep tonight. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But Peter's out in the light. He's out cold. Reminds me of the time when Jesus in the boat in the storm. Is it not? It's Jesus, oh my gosh, we're going to drown, wake up, how are you sleeping? Jesus just wipes his eyes and says, what are you doing about that? What's your problem? And the waiter listens to his voice, just so nonchalant, quiet. Peter is so satisfied in what God is doing. It does not bother him at all. He's under the threat of death. He's already seen the movement of God. He's seen it for years now in the New Testament. They can come for us. They can kill us. They can do nothing to us. They can take my life. They cannot take my eternity. He sees it firsthand. There's nothing the world can do to me. They can remove my head from my shoulders. It will only send me to God. If they kill me, so be it. And he's sleeping like a baby. To me, it's beautiful. That's who the church needs to be today. We get such a worry over things of the world. Be people who rest and find comfort and solitude and peace in who God is. Find peace in the cross. Find peace in His grace. In His love. Find total satisfaction in who He is. And rest in Him. Not worry about what the world may do to us. The world can take our lives. At the end of the day, I truly ask the question, who cares? Who cares? To send me to God quicker? Take my life. What can they do to us? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Verse 8. The angel said to him, gird yourself and put on your sandals. And he did so, and said to him, wrap your cloak around you and follow me. And he went out and continued to follow. And listen to this. And he did not know that what was being done by the angel was real, but thought he was seeing a vision. Again, when I wake up in the morning, I have a routine. I get dog food, I don't eat it. I give it to my dog, and then I start making coffee. Sometimes I have to take him out for his bathroom. There are many mornings. You all know this feeling. There are many mornings where I start my routine. I have the leash, I've got the coffee, I've got all the stuff going, and then I kind of just snap and I go, when did I get up? I'm just such a deep sleeper that I honestly have to remember, when did my alarm even go off, and how am I here right now? The really scary part, there have been times I've been driving before, not falling asleep, but I've been driving, and I'm like, how am I about to drive? Peter is so out of it. He's still wiping the sleep out of his eyes with all this stuff going on. He's still wiping the crust out of his eyes, waking up, and then realizes, is this even real? Is this even happening? Chains fall off, doors open, guards walk past him. Such a deep, deep sleep. He's not consumed by man-made power. He's resting in God's power. Takes some angel literally nudging him just to try to get him to wake up a little bit. He is so comfortable in prison, resting in God's power. Again, this all goes back to the book of Philippians. Where is Paul writing Philippians from jail? We had that verse. We talked about it months ago. No offense to anyone who uses it incorrectly, but that verse, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. We take that and make it into you can achieve your dreams, you can do all this stuff. Paul's writing from jail, and he's talking about contentment. And so when you read that verse, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, it's not about all of our accolades and things that we can accomplish. It's about making ourselves nothing that we might find rest in God. I can accomplish perfect satisfaction and contentment because Christ gives me the strength to rest, is what that verse means. Not to live for myself, but the strength to live for God. It takes all the context in the world to see Paul writing from jail. We understand that, my goodness, it doesn't mean just achieve your dreams. It means so much more. It means honor God. Second thing to see this morning, man-made power is a heavy burden, but resting in God's power is the path to peace. People think power is a good thing. I'm telling you, so dangerous, so consuming. Let people realize it, let go of this perception of power, they'll just keep craving it and craving it and craving it until they're undone. And instead, I want us to rest in who He is. I have to go fast. Verses 10 through 17. Here we go. When they had passed the first and second guard, they came to the iron gate that leads into the city, which opened for them by itself. They went along one street, and immediately the angel departed from them. When Peter came to himself, he said, "Now I know for sure that the Lord has sent forth His angel and rescued me from the hand of Herod." And all of the Jewish people were expecting. He's finally awake now. Verse 12, and when he realized this, he went to the house of Mary, the mother of John, who was also called Mark, where many were gathered together and were praying. When he knocked at the door of the gate, a servant girl named Rhoda came to answer. She recognized Peter's voice because of her joy. She did not open the gate, but ran in and announced Peter was standing in front of the gate. And they said to her, "You're out of your mind." But she kept insisting that it was so. And they kept saying, "It is an angel," which is made up, by the way. They don't even believe this stuff in the New Testament. They literally just say something they don't know what to say at that point. But Peter continued knocking. When they had opened the door, they saw him and were amazed. Verse 17, but motioning to them with his hand to be silent, he described to them how the Lord had led him out of prison. And he said, "Report these things to James and the brethren," and left and went to another place. And that's kind of it for Peter. We see Peter one more time in Acts. Then we turn to Paul. Next week, we'll start the journey of Paul. This is kind of it for us in Peter this morning in the book of Acts. A little bittersweet. We're going to be switching to Paul next week. And this part right here is just so good. Peter goes to the house. He goes to where he knows Christians are. He knows they're praying. Exactly what they're doing. And she's just so overjoyed. Again, another kind of funny moment. He goes to the door and knocks, and Rhoda says, "Oh my gosh, it's Peter." And then she forgets to let him in. She goes back and she's so happy and overjoyed that she forgets completely. I remember, y'all can do, everybody's done this at some point. I remember with Calvin, he was taking and going to church. And he came forward and I was clapping my hands, I was all excited, and I just walked out. We're supposed to vote on Calvin. I was just so ecstatic that I just bypassed it completely. Sometimes we just have moments where you just kind of forget what we're supposed to do, and all you really know to do is just kind of jump up and down. Rhoda's just so excited, she goes back, she doesn't even let Peter in. And finally, he keeps knocking. Hello? He's trying to get inside into safety. And he tells him, "Shut up." Hush. You can't make any noise. I can get him here to safety. And then he left and went to another place. They had no idea where. But know where Peter went. He found some time to rest and continued journeying, continued spreading the gospel, doing missionary activity. It's a good feeling when you are so excited that you were supposed to do it. Isn't that a good thing? The joyous thing. Verse 18. Now when day came, there was no small disturbance about the soldiers as to what could have become of Peter. when Herod had searched for him and had not found him, he examined the guards and ordered them to be led away to execution. And he went down from Judea to Caesarea and was spending time there. Herod's plan failed. His quest for power failed. What he wanted to do, to make a big name for himself, to make all his power for himself, it failed. And the quest for power hurts others too. What happened to the soldiers? Death. He kills them. You gotta have a finger to point at someone when you're in a quest for power. It doesn't work out the way you want. You gotta start making excuses, and you gotta start pointing fingers at people. The people on a quest for power never say, I messed up. I did something wrong. I fought against God when I shouldn't have. No, exact opposite. When someone has a lust for man-made power and doesn't work out, they need a scapegoat. They need to point the finger at someone. And in this rage, Herod orders his soldiers to be killed. And he just goes to Caesarea with his tail between his legs, because his plan is backfired. So let's finish up through verses 20 through 25. Excuse me. Now he was very angry with the people of Tyre and Sidon. With one accord they came to him, having won over Blastus, the king's chamberlain, and were asking for peace, because their country was fed by the king's country. On an appointed day, Herod, having put on his royal apparel, he took his seat on the rostrum and began delivering an address to them. The people kept crying out, "The voice of a God and not of a man!" And immediately an angel of the Lord struck him, because he did not give God the glory, and he was eaten by worms and died. Wow. Did not see that coming, did they? A very shocking ending to Herod's story. Herod was angry with the people of Tyre and Sidon because he had this kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? He took care of them for a while. They were not a part of his jurisdiction. He had no responsibility to give them anything. They had a family kid, and they needed help. So he was bothered by them. He kind of helped them out for a little bit, and they started needing more, and they just hounded him over and over again. We need more resources. We need more stuff. He got really sick and tired of it. So he just quit. He was tired of dealing with them. He had some kind of arrangement to help them out at one point, and he just got tired of following. He was tired of helping them out. So they had some type of falling out. Then there's Blastus, the chamberlain. He was someone who had been part of the royal court. He's sort of like a holy treasurer. We don't get all the details. We don't know how, but some way, Herod's chamberlain, Blastus, had good accords with Tyre and Sidon. They had something happen. I don't know what. We don't get that information. Somehow these two groups, Blastus and the people of Tyre and Sidon, somehow they took an agreement or an arrangement. And the only reason that Tyre and Sidon wanted to do this is they wanted to be in Herod's good graces again. They wanted to receive from him. They thought that if we cuddle up to Blastus and we make good friends with him, maybe Herod will treat us nicely again. And you just see a gross, disgusting, unholy, sickening display of man-made power. It is absolutely sickening. 21. On an appointed day, Herod, having put on his royal apparel, took his seat on the rostrum and began delivering an address to them. People kept crying out, "The voice of a God and not of a man." When you read that, they're not saying, "Hey, we want the voice of a God, not of you of a man." No. They're saying, "Herod, you have the voice of a God, not of a man." They are worshiping Herod. They are bowing down to Herod, saying, if we worship him, maybe he'll help us out. And so they assign deity to Herod. Incredibly dangerous. And immediately an angel of the Lord struck him because he did not give God the glory. He was eaten by worms and died. There is a Jewish historian by the name of Josephus. If you're interested in history, it's not scripture, he's not found in scripture. He has a terrific first-hand account of some of the things that happened in the first century. And so he was there for a lot of this stuff. He's a Jewish historian. You can actually get a Lifeway and pick up the collected works of Josephus for pretty cheap. It's not very expensive. If you have any interest in that, I would encourage you to look at it. Josephus writes about this event. Josephus writes about what happened with Herod. We get a little bit more information about the details surrounding Herod's death. I'd like to read from you what Josephus said about that day. Now, when Agrippa had reigned 3 years over all Judea, he came to the city Caesarea. We're in the right spot. There he exhibited shows of honor of the emperor. It's a 2-day event. This little time where he spoke and delivered the message. The first day, he talked about the emperor. The second day was kind of like Herod Day. On the second day of the festival, Herod put on a garment made of, listen to this, listen to what Herod put on for himself. A garment made wholly of silver and of truly wonderful contexture, and came into the theater early in the morning, at which time the silver of his garment was illuminated by the fresh reflection of the sun's rays upon it. It shone out after a surprising manner, and was so resplendent as to spread a horror over all those who looked intently upon him. He dressed himself up in a way that when the sun hit him, it looked like beams of glory. And he's just a man. He's nothing more than a man. Josephus continues, upon this, the king did neither rebuke them nor reject their impious flattery, because they started worshiping him. He said nothing. He didn't tell them to stop. He enjoyed it. And he fell into the deepest sorrow. A severe pain arose in his belly and began in the most violent manner. His pain became more and more violent. And when he had been quite worn out by the pain of his belly for 5 days, he departed this life. When it says the Lord struck Herod, don't know exactly what happened, but the Lord did strike Herod with something that day upon receiving worship from these people. Instantaneously, after receiving this worship, God strikes Herod for 5 miserable, long-suffering days. Herod is eaten alive from the inside out by worms. This is the price of power. This is what the quest for power brings us. I cannot guarantee that anyone who goes after power is going to eat by worms. Not the point. The point being the quest for power of self over being so satisfied in God's power, it will undo us. It will undo you. A quest for man-made power, instead of being so resting in God's power, is just asking for destruction. That power belongs to one person, God, and God alone. It is not ours. People say, we know when you invite people to church, you say, I want to invite you to my church. We know what that means. And people will ask me questions from time to time about my church. I don't get on to it, but I very regularly say it's not my church. It's not. We've talked about this many times in the past. This is not your church. It's not any of our church. It's not ours, it's his. This is God's church. I have no ownership. None. And neither do you. None of us. It belongs to him solely. And so in all things, outside these walls, inside these walls, the very first question we want to always ask is, God, what do you want? What do you desire of us? What would you have with us? Not by these hands. Not by this flesh. What is your desire for Orrville, for Anderson, for all churches, for the globe, for the national church, for the global church? What is your desire, God? As we go through Acts, we see quite quickly He desires us to make disciples and rest in His goodness. This quest for power will kill. It is so dangerous. Look at verses 24 and 25 once more. But the word of the Lord continued to grow and be multiplied, and Barnabas and Saul returned from Jerusalem, where they had fulfilled their mission, taking along with them John, who was also called Mark. You see the work of God continuing on, and you see the work of questing for power it is. Herod's dead. People can only fight against God for so long before finally He says enough. You can only say, God, I'm not doing that for so long, and finally He says, I've had enough patience with you. I've had enough. And the mission of God will continue. And man-made plans, hear me out, man-made plans will fall. His mission will go on until He comes back. And He has no intention of slowing down. None. No intention of slowing. You cannot win this battle. The battle belongs to Him. We rest in His victory already. That is the best news you'll hear out of all of this. We said this last week, the same exact thing, because he is a champion, because he is a victor. Guess what you are? You are more than a conqueror. You share in his victory because of what he's done, not what we've done. Isn't that good news to you and me? Rest in him. Find peace in him. Find comfort in him. That's my encouragement for you today. Sometimes you can't sleep well at night. I get that. Rest in God. Find comfort in him. The battles we often try to take up, they don't belong to us. They don't belong to any of us. They all belong to him. It's not your fight. It's not my fight. David and Goliath. It's not about us trying to slay our giants. David and Goliath does not teach us to go into battle. David and Goliath teaches us to relish and rest in what he has done. David didn't slay Goliath. God did. Rest in his victory. Find peace in his presence. Find comfort in all that he has done. Find peace in the cross. Know that you can't attribute anything to your salvation. Is that not also good news? Best news I can tell you. You can't do anything to save yourself, but you can rest fully in what he's done for us. That's wonderful, wonderful news. If this salvation was upon us to be saved, none of us would be saved. But because it's full of him and what he has done in his work, you're promised a salvation that does not fail. Grips you tightly, and he does not let go. What good news we have in God's rest, and God's power and rest in his power. I invite you forward if you have anything that you would like to talk to me about, if you'd like to come down here and pray. Any decisions, anything at all, you're welcome as we sing to come forward. You come forward. When we sing, you come forward. Everybody, you come forward and worship however you need to. Has heard the gospel call, has repented of her sins, and would like to be baptized into the family of Christ. Let me repeat that one more time. Someone has repented of their sins, has crossed over from death to life, and would like to go through baptism and obedience to the Lord's command to be saved. Amen. Lynn has come seeking membership at Orrville Baptist Church. Lynn was diagnosed in August with cancer. Received a report Friday. She is cancer-free. Do not tell me God is not at work. Do not tell me he's finished. You cannot stop the work, the ministry of Christ. If you celebrate and affirm Lynn's decision, and his pursuit, and this wonderful good news, we did not have a baptism in Orrville in 2 years. You celebrate this wonderful, wonderful news, and are thankful that she wants to be a member and confirm her as a member of Orrville. You chose so in your support by raising your hand. You see that support here. Lynn will be back here with me at the very end. Samantha, I'd like for you to join us too, and give you a chance to encourage Lynn. And y'all go home and worship him, and go home and praise him today. Being thankful for what God is doing here, doing with us here at Orrville.